Hey everybody, I know it's been quite some time, but I have decided to come back with some new videos because there's been a lot of exciting things happening in my life that I think might be very helpful to some people. I would have loved to see some videos like this a couple of years ago, so I'm hoping that somebody can take something positive away from them. So, to start off, I'm going to give a little bit of background and then I'll get into some other stuff in a couple of other videos moving forward. So, I recently relocated. I relocated to a different state from the state that I've been in for the last 8 years. So I've really gotten to know multiple areas of that state. I have lived in the upstate area, I have lived in the low country, and I have also lived in the center. The state that I'm talking about is South Carolina. One really big thing that I want to talk about is the public transportation and sidewalks in South Carolina. So I will say that my experience living in the upstate was pretty good. The sidewalks did have accessible crosswalks, so you could hear them and you knew when to cross the road, and that was very helpful, but it was not very walkable. There weren't many sidewalks around, or if there were, you had to switch in different areas where there weren't always crosswalks to switch to the other side of the road. And this is also a very big issue that I found in Columbia, South Carolina, in the center of the state. Even though it is the capital, the crosswalks were not as accessible. Some of them didn't work at all or didn't have accessible crosswalks, so you couldn't hear. And though there are awesome resources like orientation mobility where you can learn skills to cross the road, it's always great to have that extra step, that extra reassurance, something to really help guide you, especially if you're traveling on your own, if you're walking down the street on your own and you have limited eyesight. Using your hearing, using the resources that you do have is great, but just having that extra layer is just amazing. It's just top tier. So I will say that about Columbia. It was very, very difficult. I did have more walkability in the low country. If anything, that's been my favorite place to have lived because of the walkability of the area that we were living in. I was able to walk to pretty much everywhere that I really needed to. I could walk to get a haircut, I could walk to the store, I could really walk anywhere. And so that is something that I did not have in the upstate area or in the center. I will say that Columbia does have a public transportation system, but from my own experience, I cannot speak for anybody else and their experiences. They might have had an amazing experience using the buses in Columbia. I did not. I had many times where I was waiting at a bus stop and I wasn't picked up. Or I had other times where I actually had coworkers take me to the bus stop and the bus never came. And so we were just waiting there and they ended up taking me home. So thank you, coworkers, for that. Something they do have though is they have another bus system called DART, which is a dial-a-ride pickup system. And Dial-a-Ride is very, very helpful, but it's also a bus. So there are multiple people that are just going the same route as you and you stop at those different areas. But it does work for pickups and drop-offs. So that is definitely something that's very helpful. They also have a couple of other programs that are helpful with transportation in Columbia. But I digress a little bit from the story. I have since relocated to a different state, a different city, and I have here the accessibility that I have never ever had before. The reason that I have decided to jump back into these videos is because the new city that I'm in is incredibly accessible, and it's just been such a game changer for every single aspect of my life. A lot of times, especially with getting a job, for example, I have had so much difficulty finding a job because they haven't been close enough to me to where it would be worth it. If I have to spend $20 in Uber to get to my job and then $20 in Uber to get back home from my job when I'm getting paid 10 or less than $10 an hour, it can make things very difficult. So for a long time, I chose not to work and to just focus on my education, because I am currently in college getting my education. But this new place that I am in, there is walkability, there are sidewalks, and there are buses that are reliable, and they're free. Who does not love some free transportation? So that being said, so many opportunities have been opened up for me. I am able to be completely, fully, 100% independent in this city, solely going off of the bus system and occasionally using Uber, which has been no more than $15 to go anywhere that I need to go. I can take my son to his appointments entirely on my own. I take him to preschool every morning and pick him up every afternoon on the bus. I can go to the grocery store either walking or on the bus. I can get to the library either walking or on the bus. I can honestly do a little bit of everything just on the bus. There are some times that I do choose to go on Uber, but it has nothing to do with the reliability of the bus. It's more so like a time thing. Maybe I want to leave a little bit later, or I want to sleep in, or I want to do something else, and so I don't really want to wait on the bus. But that is so rare because I just love using the bus systems. I'm not going to get into it too much in this video because I do want to make an entirely separate video with the pros and the cons of using the buses, the apps that I use for the bus systems, and so many other things. It is a complete video in and of itself. But I'm just so excited to be back and to take you guys along the ride with me so that you guys can experience this, and just know that it is possible and that it may take some time to find the right place for you, but the places are there. And I am just, this is so amazing. I did not know that any place really was like this, or the possibilities that I could have, and how much my mental health could change, how much my overall health could change, physical health, because now I have access to other things like the doctor consistently, or like the gym consistently, either walking there or bus there or Ubering there, but whatever, it is now accessible. And so I thought that this needs to be shared. I have a lot of information, a lot of tips and tricks that have to do with just traveling on your own. I also want to make a whole separate video on using the Greyhound buses, because that is also something else that I do use a lot, especially now living in a different state, traveling back and forth from this state to South Carolina. And then even just, I have used the Greyhound bus so much to travel within South Carolina. So I definitely want to get into that, take you guys with me. And this is your sign. If you've been waiting for a sign to get on that bus, to make that move, to do the thing, this is your sign. Please do it. Of course, plan, and I do want to make a video on that as well. But of course, it does take planning. It does take a lot of effort. It takes knowledge. You have to know what you're doing. But it also takes a lot of courage. And if courage is the part that you're missing, please just do it. Just do it. If you need somebody to talk to, you're more than welcome to comment below if you have any specific questions, or if you just want to talk about your experience and have somebody to listen, then you're more than welcome. If there's any specific content that you would want to see from me moving forward, then please let me know. Don't forget to like the video if you do, and stay with me for the coming videos, please. There's a lot of great information coming around, and if you're a parent, there is so much that I have to say about traveling as a blind parent, using the bus system, using Uber. So yes, please stick around with me, and I will see you guys in the next video.